At 15, I thought I knew what I wanted in life. Spoiler alert, I didn't. Hi, Siddhidatri here, and I'm back with another video. As you know, I started this channel making NEET videos, but then I switched completely to CUET when I quit NEET, and then I stopped posting videos altogether. Why? Because I was lost. I didn't know why I was doing CUET at all, and so I wanted to switch again. But I wasn't confident in that decision, which is why I didn't post it. But now I feel like I finally know what direction I'm going in, so I'm here. I wanted to be a doctor for as long as I can remember. I even dressed up as a doctor in a fancy dress competition as a child at my school. So, yeah, it was a long, long dream. But then when COVID hit, I got really interested into brains and anything and everything about brain. I studied about neuroscience, neurophysics, neurology, psychiatry, psychology, all of it. I was so invested and I just wanted to study more and more. Now, when I completed 10th, my was in my hand, 94%. Everyone was saying, you got such a good marks and you have always wanted to be a doctor, just go for it. In my mind there was two choices. First, going for neuroscience because I really loved the subject. But with that, the career path would be BSc, then MSc, then PhD, and there were no stability or even, what do I say, opportunities for researchers in India, especially with neuroscience. I looked. The other option was keep going with the being a doctor dream, becoming a neurologist at that, and then study neurology and neuroscience. So I chose the obvious stable path of doctor. Looking back, this was my biggest mistake. I chose my career based on what I wanted to become rather than what I wanted to do, what I like to do, and I didn't even consider that to become what I wanted to be, the things which I would need to study or the ways I would need to study, will I even be able to do it? I ended up in NEET. While I hated rote learning, I hated cramming chapters. And NEET was literally an exam of cramming 135 chapters in 2 years. I hated rote method to the point that even in my school exams I used to get all the answers correct, which were based on theory and stuff. I even memorized, not by the method, by just rereading or understanding, anything like that. But whenever there were questions where they're just one word questions, they give you, for example in chemistry they give you a name and you have to write the molecular formula, and it's not something used often, so you have to wrote it from the list to write the correct answer in the exam. I always used to get it wrong, and I still ended up choosing NEET because I wanted to be a doctor so that I become a neurologist and then I would study science that I like. It was a foolish decision. But yeah, due to other reasons I couldn't study. That's true. But even at times when I was studying, I remember I didn't used to get any results. Only frustration. No matter how hard I studied during those times, nothing was improving. And you know what these things resulted in? Me getting frustrated with science. I didn't quit NEET because I didn't want to do NEET anymore or didn't suddenly want to become a doctor anymore. I quit it because I just didn't want to study anything science related at all. And to think that studying more of science was the reason I even chose this is just, it's hilarious. When I registered for CUET, NEET was still my primary goal, and CUET was supposed to take me to either biotech or microbiology if NEET doesn't work out. But when I got irritated with science, even those were not an option, so I started looking for something apart from science. That's when I came across BA LLB college through CUET. So I naturally started preparing for it. But it would have led me to litigation. And litigation is really, really cool when you look from afar, but it's not what it looks like at all. Unless your parents are a big name in that field. So I was aiming for corporate. For that, I got to know I have to get into either one of the NLUs or a very good private university. Both of these would come from CLAT. So I have to prepare for CLAT. When I saw the syllabus of CLAT and the past year papers, you know what the first thought that came in my mind? Why didn't I choose this earlier? Those things were so good. It was all about reading and thinking. It was very aligned to how I was or how I used to study. Well, apart from GK, which I have to wrote anyway, but yeah, it was really, really good. And for the first time, I felt like I don't have to just hold on to the imagination of being what I wanted. I could just keep studying, and the syllabus is worth that. So it was really good, and I finally felt like, yes, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to do. But for a long time, my ego and desperation kept me tied to CUET. I thought that I would just prepare for CUET, give the exam, and afterwards study for CLAT. Why CUET? Because then you would stop becoming a failure. Because if I crack CUET, I wouldn't be seen as a failure anymore. I wouldn't be seen as a person who wasted 4 years on me only to quit. But then I calmed myself down and I realized that the ego is not worth it. If I take this path, it would just cut 2 months away from my CLAT preparation and it won't be good. So I dropped CUET as well. And now we are just fully focused on CLAT. Fingers crossed, but we have time till December. It I have accidentally taken a third drop, and I have been hearing a lot that I am late in my life. And maybe I am, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay. At least I now know what I'm doing. See you guys.